Architecture fans are flocking to a village high in the Swiss Alps, and it's all due to one man, Armando Ruinelli. His elegant, idiosyncratic buildings have made the place famous.
Soglio, a village in the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland, where architect Armando Ruinelli lives and works.
I'm not a huge fan of mountains. I'd also be happy to live in a town or a city.
But Ruinelli decided to stay in his home village. A self-taught architect without a university degree. And since then, he's gradually transformed his village.
Good architecture isn't dependent on location or on the content of the building. It could even be a barn. Good architecture has to do with landscape, with urban development, and interacting with the site.
His work aims to be a dialogue between the contemporary and the traditional.
The entire Engadin district is paved over with pseudo-old buildings that have absolutely nothing to do with the actual old buildings, and which unfortunately aren't new either, but nothing more than a copy, a kind of postcard architecture.
Soglio's traditional architecture is among the best preserved in the Alpine region. There are two main types of houses here, small farmhouses and the grand, almost urban villas of the aristocratic Sadis family.
These two typologies, in a sense, make Soglio something of an anomaly.
The
great difference, the difference is scale. It's quite interesting in itself. And it shows us it's entirely possible to combine these two different scales, one with the other. But I'm aware that it also imposes a responsibility.
A studio renovation blends old and new.
The studio is an example of this kind of restraint. I thought I can't build a large house on this site.
The two houses are linked. The ground floor houses the studio used by a professional photographer. A skylight provides additional light. The living space is also distributed across the two buildings. The architect's own studio is in the center of the village. It was built 25 years ago. The wood on the exterior comes from the chestnut forest surrounding the village. It's been left untreated, which is one of Ruinelli's trademarks.
Many people don't like it when the wood turns black on the eastern side of the house and brown on the south side, so that it shows us two different faces. Or if the northern face turns silver. But I think it's important because that's how you see the passage of time on a building, just like on a person.
On this converted barn, Ruinelli added slats made of oak, along with large expanses of tamped concrete, both outside and inside the building.
This draws directly on the old walls, but it's also clearly contemporary. Tamping is a very old technique, but the material itself is contemporary, as is the language and the structure.
The building and furnishings are made of the same material: tamped concrete, metal, and natural oiled oak. The interplay of material and light lends the space an unexpected feeling of comfort and warmth. The final result is a perfect blend of exterior and interior design, conservation and award-winning architecture. Armando Ruinelli has put his mark on the village of Soglio.
If I were working in a city and they let me design and build 20 different buildings there, that would just be a few specks on its surface. But if I'm working in a village and build 20 objects there, that sends a message.
His current project is a parking garage at the edge of the village. Designing a building for the site presents a challenge.
The light shining in through the slats, those will be columns made of concrete, probably stained in a dark color, because dark concrete fades nicely into the background, so it blends in with the landscape. I want to be able to feel the light, and through these slits I'll see the mountains, the landscape, and then I'll go outside and see the square and this big landscape we have here.
A view of the mountains. And even if it's not entirely to Armando Ruinelli's own taste, this sense of place is central to his work.